Hey everyone, Ryan here from Mista Rau Gaming, and welcome to another solo playthrough video with me. I am going to be taking a look at Euphoria, Build a Better Dystopia, designed by Alan Stone and Jamey Stegmaier, published by Stonemaier Games. Let's take a trip into a dystopian future where there are some factions that are kind of working together, kind of not working together. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but we do know that we do not want our workers to be too intelligent or they're going to run away from us. So let's gather some commodities, gather those resources, construct some buildings, and let's see who can be the leader of the new Euphoria. If you're enjoying the videos that I am having on this channel, please just, take a moment to put a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I put out some new videos or when I go live, usually on Tuesday evenings. All right, so I am just going to switch on over the camera here to the top down, where we are going to be taking a look at the board for Euphoria. And as you can see, I have got some things already set up for us. Not everything, though. And I have to make a mention that I am playing with the Ignorance is Bliss expansion set, because with that expansion set comes with the solo Automa opponent deck. And if you want to play this game solo, you have to purchase the Ignorance is Bliss expansion, which also comes with a brand new deck of recruits that you can play with. I'll be playing with the recruits from the Ignorance is Bliss set. They advise you not to mix these in with the base game of Euphoria sets. You either play with one set or the other. And so with that too, I am also using market buildings from the Ignorance is Bliss expansion as well. And again, they ask you, they advise you, I guess, to not mix those in with the base game as well. So I'll be playing with those. You may also know that there are a few different editions of Euphoria kind of out there right now. This was kind of an earlier printing, but it has been updated to the newest one. Mainly these tunnel tracks now have starting spaces depending on your player counts. And I must make a mention that I'm kind of just using a little bit of these brighter resources to track the tunnel progress. There usually are these little minor tokens, but they're a little hard to see on the camera. So that's why I'm kind of choosing to use the brighter of the resources. And also what the expansion adds as well, instead of just drawing blindly off a deck of cards for your artifacts, they now have this artifacts board that you can now select from. And the far right one here is free to take, but it will cost you some commodities in order to purchase other artifact cards if you choose to want them. And they also come with these nice little player boards to kind of keep track of your commodities and your resources and your stars, and of course your morale and your intelligence. I'll be keeping track of my morale and intelligence on the main board, which is where most people would actually keep it. All right, so a little bit of extra setup that I've also done ahead of time. I've got my moral obligation card here, where I can either fight the oppressor or serve the oppressor. So I can either, as long as I get a baseball bat or 2 artifact cards, I can either draw 2 new recruits or put a star onto this card at some point in time. And that's kind of like my moral decision that I'm going to end up making. Well, so that I have not done yet is I do not have my recruits. So I'm going to give this a quick little shuffle, and then at the beginning of the game you are dealt 4 recruits, and then you keep 2 of them. One is active right away, and then the other one is going to be, tucked away until it is allowed to be revealed. As long as you progress along these allegiance tracks or far enough down the tunnels, there are certain spaces that allow you to flip over your recruit cards, as long as they belong to that particular faction. All right, so I think I've got this done here. So I'll draw 4 off. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I get to choose 2 of them. And looks like I've got a couple subterraneans, 1 Icarat, and 1 Wastelander. So let's take a look here. I kind of always like to have 2 because if you're able to push this track, this allegiance track, all the way over to the end, if you have any recruits of that matching faction, you get to put stars on them. So maybe I want to go for subterraneans here. So maybe let's take a look here. It says we got Shahina the Digger. There it says at the end of your turns, you may pay stone to gain an artifact card, paying its commodity price in the bazaar, if any. Okay, so you can extra way of gaining some artifact cards as long as you have some stone. We got Khalif the Bruiser here. It says when you bump another player's worker and that player has at least 3 knowledge. Oh wait, this is one of the ones. This is one of the ones that you're not supposed to play with because this has got some player interaction in it. You're not supposed to play with that one in the solo mode. So I'll just draw another one off the top here. Doug the Builder. He's a Euphorian. When you place a worker on a construction space, you may lose an available worker to gain the resource of the space instead of paying it. Ooh, interesting. When you place a worker on a construction, lose an available worker to gain the resource of the space instead of paying it. Wow. That's interesting. That's actually a very interesting thing. We've got Gwen the Mineralogist. When using commodity area with 9+ knowledge, you may gain 1 of that faction's resources, if any, in place of 1 of the commodities. Ooh, that's interesting. That's a very interesting one. Better way of getting some resources. And then the Icarat. Here is Teo, the contingency planner. You may pay Bliss instead of the normal cost when you use a tunnel action space. If you do not gain both a resource and a card, gain 1 morale. Now, I'm just going to tell you, you know what? That, since I have now 4 differents, I'm thinking that Teo the contingency planner might be an interesting one. That's actually a pretty good one about advancing some tunnel spaces. When you use a tunnel action space, that's good. Those are usually good ways to gain resources. Sheena the Digger. When you use a commodity area, though, you may gain 1 of that faction's resources. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Gwen the Mineralogist as my active recruit, and then I think I'm gonna go with Teo the contingency planner as my other one, as my hidden, which means I'm gonna use. So now that I've chosen 2 different factions, those other 2 factions, in a solo game, in this case it'll be Subterraneans and Euphorians, are going to be our black Automa player and our white Automa player. And so whenever things are going to correspond with the white and black actions, they will trigger. Alrighty, I think I am all set up and ready to go for my game of Euphoria. I guess the last thing that I need to do here is I just need to roll our dice and set them up. So I'll take the black worker. Got a few 5s and a 1. The white Automa player has got a couple 1s, a 2, and a 4. Okay, and then I only start with 2 available workers, just like in any normal game. Oh, and I start off with a 5, a 5, and you always have to make sure that whenever you roll the dice, you always add it to your knowledge track here, your kind of like your intelligence level, and if that total ever goes to 16 or more, you will lose a worker. We're safe now. That's 10 plus 3 is 13. We are good for that. Okay. And we will draw the top card of the solo deck to be ready for what's happening. So we do know that here, in the case of the black worker, they're going to be doing something in their own faction, and the white worker is going to be doing something in the wastelands, which is kind of like where I kind of like to go. That's where I would kind of like to go. So why not let us get going here? And I am going to start it off by taking one of my workers, and I'm going to fill in one of these commodity areas. There are 3 commodity areas across the board. Some they're going to get is food commodity, electricity, and water. And they all work in the exact same manner. When you put your dice there, you total up all of the dice that are in that area, and then you take a look at which area you're going to evaluate. In this case, I'm going to put my 5 worker there, which means I am going to get a food, and my intelligence level, my knowledge level goes down 1. Do that right there, and then I gain a food commodity. And I'll put it right there, and that's going to be my turn. Now the automa gets to take their turn. So we'll flip over the top card here, and we will evaluate a few different things. We see at the very top here is that the bazaar is actually going to start moving. It says here that we're going to discard the rightmost card. Discard the rightmost card, and everything else is going to shuffle. There we go. Now it is the automa player, the black automa player is going to do a tunnel action in their faction. So their faction is the Euphorians. So they will always place their highest value dice. So in this case, there's a 5, and they'll take a tunnel action in their faction. So I'll put it over there, and that is going to advance the tunnel track 1 space. There we go. And then the white automa, they are going to go into the commodity area of the wastelands. And whenever they will always place their highest value dice, except for if they put it in the commodity of their own faction. They're going to wastelands, so they're going to take their highest value die, which is a 4 here, and they're going to come into the wastelands. Just with me. So now the total of that area is now 9. Okay, and that is the automa's turn. This little symbol up in the top here is only applicable when the automa has to actually retrieve their workers at some point in time during their turn. Okay, now I can maybe try to do something with my last dice here, and what I could do is actually I could come over here. I could come back to this. I could come back to the Wastelands farm. The dice would be 9 or more, and I could activate my power here. It's saying when using commodity area with 9 or more knowledge, I may gain one of that faction's resources in place of one of the commodities. So I could gain another food, and then I could gain also a brick. And resources are the main way to construct these buildings. You can see all the buildings need resources on them, and the faster that you can get some resources and start constructing those buildings, the little bit better you're going to be able to do and gain some ability. So why not? I guess I can also mention too that there might be ways that I can try to get some of these other resources. Down in the bottom left over here, you can see that I can actually gain more workers by collecting some electricity or gaining some water, and I can gain some extra workers, which might actually not be a bad idea to try to do. I do know that at some point in time, they're probably going to want to come down here. So maybe I might want to try to get some water going. Sure, why not? I'm going to take my last worker here. I'm going to come down over here, and I am going to collect some water. It's a 5, so I'm going to go to the 5 to 8 space. I'm going to collect a water. And also my knowledge track is going to go down again to the lowest that it can be. That's pretty good, because then it's the chances of me losing workers gets less and less the farther down my knowledge actually goes. There's my turn. So let's do the automa. So this card is actually going to get discarded. That one moves over. Okay, so the black automa player is going to do a tunnel action with the Icarus. Now, instead of doing a tunnel action with the Icarus, they are actually going to go to this one looks like it's the Sky Lounge. So they'll take their highest value worker and they're going to block the Sky Lounge place. That's okay. I'm not going to be going there anyways because, well, you need Bliss and you need commodities in order to do their thing. Well, Bliss is actually pretty good, and getting some, trading a commodity and a Bliss for 2 resources is actually pretty good. And you also get a bump on the Icarus, which I have an Icarus down here that I probably do want it actually to increase. And then the white Automa is going to go into the commodity space of their faction. Since they're going to be doing their faction, they take their lowest value die and they'll put it in the commodity space there. And that is it. So that's a 6 that is in there. Nothing. They gain nothing for that. All right. It is my turn and my workers are all out there. So I actually have to spend a turn by recalling my workers. And in this case, you could recall as many of your workers as you want, but I only have 2 workers and I have no risk of losing them. A 6 and a 4. So that is 10 plus 1 is 11. I am safe. Now it's back onto the Automa. So discard that one. Okay. So the black Automa worker is going to do a commodity action with the Euphorians. That is their faction. So they'll take their lowest, they'll take their lowest value die and put it in there. And that does do something for them. They don't gain the resource, but they are going to increase the Euphorians' allegiance track. So they are starting to gain on the allegiance track there. And the white Automa player is actually going to do a commodity action again in their faction. So they will... oh yeah, because I recalled my workers. So they'll take their 1 and they'll put it back in there. Now the total is there is just 2, so they will bump up their allegiance track with the Subterraneans. That's the Automa's turn. Back on to me, and my goodness gracious. Oh wait, I forgot to do something when I recalled my workers. When you recall your workers, you either have to lose a morale, or you could pay a food or Bliss to gain 2 morale. Now, I'm as low on the morale track as I could possibly go, so I'm just going to choose to lose the morale, hence nothing really happening right now, so that I just maintain my commodities just for the time being. Alrighty. Well, maybe I am actually going to do this one. I am actually going to start gaining some... I'm going to start gaining some Bliss. I'm going to take my value 4 here. Sure, yeah, I'm going to take my value 4. I'm going to come up here into the Icarus space. It's a 4, so I'm going to gain myself a Bliss. And I'm also going to advance the Icarus allegiance track by 1. And there is my turn. Let's do the Automa. That's going to go aside, move over. Boom, there we go. Okay, so nothing's happening really there. And now we got the commodity action in there and the tunnel action. But there is something nice and neat here. Each Automa only has 1 worker left. And if they have to take either a commodity action or a tunnel action, they actually are going to retrieve their workers. Now, they will retrieve their workers in a very specific manner, according to our little handy action reference here. Because the A symbol here, this triangle symbol, is up on the board here, it says it'll leave behind the highest knowledge worker on a commodity area of a non-Automa faction. So when they were going to retrieve their workers, if they have their dice in a non-Automa faction, they will leave behind their highest value worker. Now the black worker, the black Automa, they are only, the only commodity area is their own faction, so they're actually going to retrieve all of their dice. They're going to come back. The white Automa worker, they're going to also have to retrieve their workers, and they are actually in they are actually in a non faction commodity area. So they'll leave behind this 4 and they'll just retrieve their 2 1s. And that's only because that this triangular symbol is there. Okay, that's the Automa's turn. Easy peasy. Okay, what am I going to do with my 6? Well, I think with my 6, I'm going to start gaining some resources. I think I'm going to start doing some resources here. So I'm going to actually take my 6, and I'm going to come up to the Sky Lounge. Just like this. And in the Sky Lounge here, it says I can pay a commodity and a Bliss, and I'm going to be able to increase the Icarus track and gain 2 resources. So I'm going to pay a Bliss in this water. No, Bliss in the food. Oh gosh, why is it so difficult right off the bat? Bliss and the food, yeah. And I am going to gain 2 resources of my choosings, and the resources that I am actually, so mainly I'm just going to kind of try to pick which of these areas that I'm going to want to try. And you know what, maybe I'm going to go for wastelands. So maybe I'm going to grab a brick, and maybe I'll go for the top one here. I'm going to grab a brick and a stone. Eventually, there we go, just like that. So I have now a brick and a stone. Okay, and that was my turn. So now the Automas are going to get to take their turn. Move that over, and ooh, just like that, that first set of Automa cards is now gone. Okay, so the black faction is going to take a commodity. Oh wait, I guess I didn't, the dice that came back, I forgot to roll. I just kind of brought them back, didn't I? There we go. And the dice for the Automa, the white Automa, I forgot to roll as well. There we go. Okay, so now that I've got that, the black Automa is going to take a commodity action in their area. So they'll put a 3, the lowest value die, since it's their action. And that's going to do something. It's going to bump up their Euphorian track. So it's going to come up here. And now they've unlocked the ability, if I had a Euphorian recruit here, every time that I came to the generator, I would actually gain an extra electricity. And the white Automa is actually going to go into the commodity area of the Euphorians as well. So this is a non faction one, so they'll use their highest value dice, which here is a 6, and that puts them into 9, and so nothing will actually happen for them. Okay, on to me. I have no workers, so I'll just retrieve my workers. I'm going to choose to spend the morale since I am the lowest on the track, and plus I don't have food or bliss. And I get a 2 and a 6. 2 plus 6 is 8, plus 1 is 9. I am definitely safe. All right, now we're on to the Automa's faction. Now that we're gone to the Automa's turn, and we have no more Automa cards to draw. So we're going to collect these cards. Again, there were 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to begin with. And now we had specially, from the instructions, constructed another deck of cards that adds a few more layers to the Automa's turn. We're going to add these 5 cards now to this deck. And we're going to give it a shuffle. So now there's going to be a few more advanced actions coming. Now the Automa is going to, now there's chances are that they will start putting their dice onto these construction spots, maybe also blocking, well, continuing to try to, block some tunnel spaces and whatnot. So I'm just going to give this a little how do you do shuffle, and we will continue on. So there we go. And then we'll draw the top one. And it's the Automa's turn. So we'll draw that top one there. And it looks like there again, we've got the Bazaar. So we've got to discard the second card here. And we will shuffle everything over. And now the Black Automa is going to do a commodity action in their faction. So their lowest value die, which is a 3, they're going to come over here, really clogging up that generator spot. And then the Subterraneans, they're going to do a tunnel action with the Wastelanders. So they'll take their highest value die, they'll put it in the Wastelanders, and they'll advance that track by 1. Okay, and that's the Automa's turn. On to me. Okay. Well. I think I'm going to... I don't exactly know what I want to do. So maybe I'm going to keep trying to get some more water so that I'm eventually going to try to get another worker. So I'm going to take a 2. Or do I? Yeah, you know what? I'll do the 2. I'll take the 2, and I will gain a water. I'll gain a water, and that also pumps up the Subterranean's track. So now if I had a Subterranean recruit, I would actually get an extra water, but I don't have one. But I did want that extra water. Okay, so now the Automa is going to take their turn, so this one gets discarded. Okay, so then we have Black is going to take a commodity action in their faction, so the lowest value die, really kind of jamming that generator full. And then the White Automa, they only have 1 dice left, so they are actually going to recall their workers. And they are actually going to leave a worker, their highest valued worker, in a area that is not their faction. So they are Subterraneans. They looks like they have a 6 over here. So they'll leave that 6 behind, and they'll recall back these 2 workers. There we go. And that's the Automa's turn. Now I have this remaining 6. I could choose to come over here and gain some electricity, and because of my power here, I gain some electricity and a gold. But do you know what? I think I'm actually going to do it this way. I'm going to use my 6. I'm going to come down here, because that only adds up to 8, and I'm going to take a water. And I go down on my intelligence, but I'm as far down as I can go. But that also gives me my 3 water that I'm going to need in order to get another worker, which is actually going to be, I hope, beneficial to me. Okay, that is that. So now let's do the Automa's turn. Move those aside. Bump that up. Okay. So Black worker, they only have 1 worker left, and they have to do a commodity action. So they're going to recall their workers. They would have to leave behind their highest value in a non-faction specific, but all their workers are in their area. So they're actually going to recall all 3 of these. And they got a few high ones. And looks like that the Subterraneans, they're going to take a commodity action in the Wastelands. So they'll have to use their highest value die, which is a 4. They'll come down to the Wastelands, and hey, that gets the Wasteland track starts moving up because it is in this area. Okay, on to me. I'm going to recall my workers. I'm going to choose to, spend a morale. Even though it's at the one, and I got 2 4s. One thing I forgot to mention, that if you ever roll doubles or multiples of the same number, if you have morale to spend, you can place them. You can place multiple dice at the same time. Hopefully, I'll be able to show that at some point in time in this video. But I recalled my workers. 8 plus 1 is 9. Definitely less than 16. Let's keep it going. All right, so Black Automa is going to do a tunnel action in their area. So the Euphorians are going to take their highest value, their highest value die, come to the tunnel and keep it increasing. And then the White Automa is going to do a commodity action in their area. So they're going to take their lowest value, put it in the commodity area. That is a 1. So they'll advance the subterranean allegiance track. That is that. Alrighty. Well, I think it's time for me to get another worker. It's been a long time coming here. So I'm going to take one of my dice. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to pay my 3 water. I'm going to gain 2 morale, it says down here. And I'm going to gain my 3rd worker. And I roll it right away. It's a 5. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 1 is 10, so I am good. No one's going to run away on me. And now I have my extra worker. Yes. Alrighty, let's do the Automa. Discard, move it on over. Okay, bizarre action is going to be this the rightmost. These ones all slide down. Okay, now what's going to happen here? Black worker is going to do a tunnel action on the Euphorian space, which is their own. So you'll take the highest value. And look at this. They're actually going to bump their own worker. That's going to advance 1 space. And then this now is going to come back to them, and it's a 4. White Automa, they only have 1 worker left. It is a commodity action, so they will leave their highest value die because of the triangle symbol. They will leave back their highest value on their non-faction specific commodity area, so they're going to leave back that 6 again. And they got a 6 and a 2. Okay. Alrighty, now my extra worker, what am I going to start doing? I got no resources, but I do have some resources. So why not? I think I wanted to try to start doing this, but maybe I do need to get some resources going. I do wish they were a little bit more, but you know what? I'm actually going to do it this way. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to come to my farm with a 4. I'm going to gain a food. And since it's a 4, I'm going to bump up the Wastelanders allegiance track, which means if I have a Wastelander recruit, which I do, I'm going to gain an extra food every time I come to the farm. That's going to be really, really good for us, I think, at some point, because maybe we'll start spending food when we recall our workers to keep bumping up our morale. Okay, that's my turn. Let's see what's going to happen next. Okay, the bizarre track just keeps on advancing. The 2nd card is going to get discarded. And there we go. So we got a couple baseball bats, teddy bear, and some glasses. Okay, Black Automa worker is going to do a commodity action in the Icarus spot. So highest valued worker goes up there. Nothing happens. And we're going to do our first market action. And so the subterraneans are going to take their highest valued worker, and they're going to do a construction in the subterranean spot. There's lots of different markets out here, and so I'm just going to kind of leave that there. There is this handy little flow chart in the instruction manual. When you want to do a constructed market action, there's kind of like a little table here that you can just simply run through. It says the very first thing they're going to look for are spaces on construction sites where there is already a worker. There are no workers out there currently, so they have to go down to the next thing. They're going to go spaces on construction sites where there are no workers. And so that is all of them. So they'll aim for their faction specific one, which is subterranean, and they'll take that worker and they'll go to the bottommost resource column, which is this one way down here at the bottom of the screen here. Okay, that might make my decision a little bit easier on my turn, because in a 2 and 3 player game, so playing with the Automa here, we're simulating a 3-player game of Euphoria here. Only 2 spaces on a market beside the markets are required in order for that market to be constructed. So I could actually come here with my brick or my stone. I have either of them, and I could finish building this marketplace, meaning that the white player and myself would actually get a star out onto the board. I don't think I ever mentioned that in order to win a game of Euphoria, you need to get all 10 of your stars out onto the board, and that is one way to do it, is to get them onto these, it's contributing to the market spaces. So I think on my turn, and so that essentially takes black away from also constructing this, which means black would actually operate at a penalty. If I don't come and contribute to this marketplace and black eventually gets there, then they will construct it and I won't be there, and therefore I have to suffer some sort of penalty. So I guess my decision's being made up for myself here. I am going to take this. I'm going to decide whether or not if I'm going to take a brick or a stone. And I guess because of my special power here, I have access to other resources. So I think I will spend the stone. So I'm going to come over here. I'll spend the stone here. There we go. And now that market is now being constructed. We're going to gain back our workers right away here. So I'll roll mine. It's a 1. I'll roll the whites. It's also a 1. And this market is now constructed. It is the Dilemma's Prison. And so from now on, so if I were to have a penalty, if I did not get a star on here, when retrieving my workers, the players to my right and left can immediately retrieve 1 worker. Well done. But the most important thing is, now this is another way to get stars onto the board. As long as we can pay a teddy bear artifact, an electricity, and a food, we can put a star into the Subterranean's territory down here, and also advance the Subterranean's allegiance track. But before I forget here, I'm going to put down a white star and one of my stars. And to symbolize that the black player is penalized, we are going to flip over their card, which means now anytime that they roll 6s by retrieving their workers, they're actually going to get placed onto that card, and they don't have access to that number 6. Okay, so that was my turn. Pretty eventful. Constructed a market space. Pretty good. Let's do the Automa now. We'll discard that card. All right, so the black player is going to do a commodity action in their territory. So they'll take their lowest value die and put it in there. That's an 8. Does nothing for them. And the white player is going to do a commodity action in the Subterraneans. That is their faction, so they'll take their lowest value die, put it in there, and that is actually going to advance the Subterraneans allegiance track again. Alrighty. Okay, well, I've got a worker again. And I've got that food. So why not? I could get a bunch of food. I could actually come over here. It'd be a 5 to 8. Still lose my, but I would actually gain 2 food. That would actually be lovely. Or I could actually come over here, get a couple of electricity, or an electricity and a gold because of my power. But then my intelligence would actually go up by 1, but I think I can afford to do that. So why not? the extra resources are quite nice. So that's 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm going to actually come over here. I'm going to put it in here. That makes it 9. So I'm up into this area. Because of my power, I'm actually going to gain electricity. And I'm also going to gain a gold. So a gold resource, electricity commodity, and my intelligence goes up 1 level. Okay, I'm going to do it that way. Now that's my turn. Okay, so let's do it this way. So do that. Come over here. Okay, big things happening on the Automa's turn here. So the black player, even though they have 1 worker left, their action is actually going to be doing a market place. So we have to take a look. Are there any markets that currently have any workers? No. They'll do their own faction specific. So they are the Euphorians. So they'll take their dice. They'll come over to the Euphorian markets and they'll go onto the bottommost space. The white Automa is actually going to do a market action. And they will look at, is there any place that already contains workers? There is a market area that contains workers already, so they will actually go there first. Just gonna reread that for a second, but yes, that is going to be how they work. So they go through the rows on the table below from top to bottom until you find a row that gives the Automa at least 1 valid space, using tiebreakers as needed. The Automa places a worker and possibly an authority token. So yes, the very top row here says spaces on construction sites where there is already a worker. So they are going to take their worker. There's a construction space that already contains one right there. And in this game, they have now constructed that market. So they'll take their workers back. Oh, and they're penalized. So they actually, that 6 actually goes there. And Subterraneans will get a 6. But this market is now constructed. They get a white, they each get a star on there. But before that, because I don't have a star there, I didn't contribute to this, I am going to have a penalty. And so this market was the Together We Work Alone camp. And my penalty at the bottom there says you must have less than 6 knowledge to bump your own workers. If you do, gain a intelligence. So I can't bump my own workers unless if I must have less than 6 intelligence. Dang. Okay. And so then I'll put those on there. Bumping your own workers is a kind of a mid to late game thing that you'll start doing by doing these tunnel actions over and over again. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so that was the Automa's turn. Big turn for them. Big turn for them. Let's do our turn, which means I have no workers, and I'm going to actually have to retrieve them. Yeah, okay. And I will retrieve all 3 of them. Just hopefully I roll kind of like mid-low. Ooh, that's not boding well. That is 9, 15, 16, 17. Dang it. Yeah, 6 and 5 is 11, plus 4 is 15, 16, 17. I actually have to lose a worker, and you lose your highest value, which will be this 6. So I am back down to 2 workers again. Well, shucks. That is unfortunate for me. Oh, and I will pay because I'm doing that, I'm actually going to pay a food. Yeah, I'm going to pay a food to go up 2 on the morale track just for the time being, so that I can, start doing some things with those. Okay, so that was that. Let's do the Automa's turn. Which the black worker has no workers. He's going to have to recall all of them, and there's nothing special about it. So they're just going to recall all of their workers off of all of their spots. Okay, 6, a 5, a 1, and a 2. And the white worker is going to do a tunnel action in their own area. So they'll take their highest value. Tunnel action, subterranean tunnel. That's actually the first bump on their tunnel that they're going to go through. Okay, that is that. So now it's back on to us. And boy, oh boy, are we getting in trouble here. So perhaps, now the only way that I'm actually going to be able to get a star onto this place to get rid of that penalty is I actually need to come up to this artifacts space where I need to actually spend 3 artifacts, or a pair of artifacts can count as 3 artifact cards in order to actually place a star into that area. But maybe we have other plans. Maybe we have some other plans. Perhaps I'm going to get some Bliss up here. So I'm going to gain myself a Bliss. And I'm going to bump up the Icarus spot, which now, if I have an Icarus active recruit, I don't yet, but I can at some point in time. As long as this goes up enough, I can actually flip that over. I can actually gain some. Yep, I'll do it that way. So now Automa's turn. Oh, last card of there. So black is actually going to do a commodity action in their faction, which is the Euphorians. White dice is stuck around there for a while, so they don't get no bonus. White workers, they only have 1 worker left, and they have to do a tunnel action, so they're going to recall their workers, and they have to leave back their highest value in one of their spots. So they're actually going to leave back that 6 still. That 6 has been there for a very long time. And a 6 and a... Oh, I guess I forgot when I rolled that, since the black is penalized, that 6 actually should be on that card. Okay, so there we go. So we did the white return. Okay, our 5. What should I do with our 5? Well, I actually could do, I could actually get, ooh, I can actually get some, I actually like this. I'm going to actually use this 5. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to gain 2 electricity and increase my knowledge track. But that's okay, because with 3 electricity, I'll actually be able to gain another worker and lose 2 intelligence on my knowledge track, because I'm shocking my workers to life, and they kind of come back a little dumb or something like that. Maybe that's the way it is. Okay, Automa's turn. There's no Automa cards, so we're going to take all of the cards we've been using, and because of how the setup was, there's an additional 5 cards that we're going to shuffle into this deck of cards. And now the Automa deck is fully complete. And now things could possibly start ramping up with the construction of the market spaces, and also starting to put some stars onto the board a little bit quicker than, well, we haven't been doing that very fast as well. So let's see what we can do here. So and look at this. Okay, so the black player, they're going to do a tunnel action in their faction, the Euphorian track. So that's going to go there. So now if anybody had any Euphorian workers, they could actually flip them. But I chose Icarus, so I didn't choose Euphorian. I chose Icarus, so my card doesn't get flipped. Alrighty, and then the white Automa is actually going to do a market action. Is there any markets that contain workers currently? No. So now they'll go to their specific faction, which is the subterranean. So they'll take their highest value die and they'll put it on the lowest spot. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate for me because I am going to actually, I don't have any workers. I kind of want to kind of go there so that I can get in on that. But I have to recall my workers because that's just the way that the turn ends up. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. We are okay. Automa. Okay, commodity actions. That's okay because black only has one worker left, so they have to actually retrieve their workers. And there's no A symbol on the top, so they're going to retrieve all of their workers. No 6s, so they have access to all of their workers. White is actually going to do a commodity action in the Euphorians area, so they'll take their highest value and put it in the Euphorians. Nothing's going to happen. On to us. Well, I think I've talked myself into it. I'm going to take my worker here. Actually, I'm going to take my 6. It's a high value. I'm going to spend my gold that I have and contribute to this market. So we're going to get our dice back. Ooh, a 1. And they get a 1. And we've constructed the Theater of Endless Monotony. Perfect. And I get a star, and white also gets a star again. Oh my goodness. So white has 3 stars out there. We have 2. Black has 1. Let's see if we can keep this gravy train rolling. We're going to want to start trying to get some artifacts at some point in time so we can put some extra stars onto the board. But I do want to actually construct my own markets because I am Wastelanders and I kind of want to keep advancing the Wastelanders track if possible. Okay, now I am going to. Oh, I put my dice out there. So now it is the Automa's turn. Okay, here we go again. They're going to start constructing. Are there any markets that currently have? None. So they will construct in their area. So they'll take their highest value. And they'll construct in theirs. There's the Euphorians. So right there, they'll go onto the bottommost space. And white is going to do a tunnel action with the subterranean. So they'll take their highest value die, put it in the tunnel section, and advance it 1 space. There we go. Okay, what am I going to do with mine? I kind of want to keep advancing some of my stuff, and I want some extra things, but I also want another worker. So maybe I'm just going to do it. Oh gosh, I could actually do it that. No, wait, I don't have that activated. So I actually have to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to put my 1 down in here. And that is going to get me 2 food. 2 food. And a bump on the Wastelanders Allegiance track. That is going to be that. And then now it's going to be my Automa's turn. Okay, second row baseball bat is going to go away. I kind of want a baseball bat because I need that for my moral obligation. Black is going to do a commodity action in the Icarit's spot. Their highest value dice is a 3. That's actually nice for us. So that bumps up the Icarit's spot 1 space. And then white is going to take a market action. Is there any place that currently has a dice? Yes, there is again over here. Oh my goodness gracious. So they're going to construct a market space with black. They're going to get their workers back here. Black, white, and I'm going to suffer another penalty. Storage of an insufficient capacity. I'm going to be reading the bottom here. It says you can only gain artifacts of a kind you don't already have. So I cannot collect pairs or like kinds currently. And that gives white their 4th star on the board. That is not great. That is not great at all. Okay, that was white's turn. My turn. I am going to come down and I'm going to get another worker. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to use the 3 electricity that I have to shock a worker to life. I'm going to lose 2 intelligence. Get my extra worker here, which is a 2. That's actually really good for me. And that is that. Okay, let's see what Autumn is doing. Oh gosh, oh gosh, this is bad. Okay, so black is going to construct. There's no markets that currently have, but there is going to be a market. So if there's no markets currently, they would want to go to their faction, but their faction is already completely constructed. So now they'll actually have to come around and they'll have to come over here to the Wastelanders. So they'll take their highest value and they'll go to the bottom most. And the white one is actually going to do the same thing. They're going to construct and they want to go to the Subterraneans, but they're already constructed. Euphorians are already constructed. So now they'll have to come and construct over here, which is now going to give them each another star and gives me another penalty. Institute of Orwellian Optimism. Mostly my important thing is after rolling workers, treat each worker that rolled a 1 or 2 as 3s during the knowledge check. No. That is just terrible. A 5 and a 4. And white has got 5 stars out there now. Oh my gosh. Hopefully there's not too many more of those market spaces that are coming up. Okay. Well, I do need to maybe start getting some markets. I need to get some cards. So maybe I'm going to do it this way. Should I come up to the breeze bar? I can spend a bliss and a commodity to increase the Icarit's track and also gain 2 artifact cards, which I'm allowed to actually have at the current time. I'm allowed to have up to 5. That's kind of what the morale track is allowing you to do. You can have up to that many artifact cards in your hand. Might be a thing. I could also gain some more resources to maybe get in on, but now I'm kind of start shifting gears because I'm going to need, well, I need to get rid of this one. So I'm going to need 3 artifact cards to get rid of this one so that I can, oh wait, where's the one that, oh, this one. This one says I can't have pairs. I can only gain artifacts of a kind I don't already have. I need to get rid of that one first. And then I need to actually get rid of this one, which treats my, oh, I don't actually know which one I need to get rid of first. Oh dear. Well, maybe let's do it. Maybe let's just do it. I am going to go for the artifact cards. I am going to come up over here. I'm going to spend a bliss and a food. And I'm going to go up on the Icarit's allegiance track. And I'm going to gain 2 artifact cards. So the first one I'm going to gain is I'm going to gain this lovely teddy bear. Everything slides down. And then I have to gain another one of a different type. And you know what? Since I don't want to spend my commodity, I'm actually just going to take this baseball bat. So now I have a teddy bear and a baseball bat artifacts. And I'm working my way towards it. I could actually spend my baseball bat right now to maybe get another recruit. Get myself another recruit, because then maybe I might get a Euphorian. because Euphorians can flip over right away and I can actually get something. Or I could actually put a star onto this card, which is kind of like a sneaky way of getting an extra star right towards the end. But Euphorians have not been really advancing their allegiance track all that much because that white worker's been sitting there for pretty much the entire game. But also gains me access to 3 water if that Euphorian track kind of gets all the way down. Oh my goodness gracious, what should I try to do? You know what? I'm actually going to try this. I'm actually going to spend my baseball bat that I just gained, and I'm going to draw 2 recruits, and I'm going to keep one of them. Oh, I got another Wastelander and another Icarit. So my moral obligation is now done. What's my Wastelander? When your worker is bumped, you may keep the value of it, the value it had, or set it to the value of the worker that bumped it instead of rolling it. Oh, that's actually really nice. Oh, that's actually really nice. The Icarit one, when you use a tunnel, unless you are already gaining both benefits, you may pay Bliss to gain both the resource and the card. Kind of like the idea of this Wastelander. Now, it's going to come in hidden because the Wastelanders have not been, the other Wastelanders have not been revealed yet, but possibly I can maybe flip over 2 Wastelanders. So I'm actually going to keep the Wastelander one. That was a risk I was willing to take. Okay. Yeah, that was my turn. I got my artifact cards. Let's see what Automat is. Okay, good. So commodity of their own faction. So they'll place a 1 that doesn't do anything. And a tunnel space, but they only have 1 worker. So they have to recall all their workers. And they're like this. They're going to have to leave behind their highest value in one of the so that 6 is still there. Oh my goodness gracious. That is actually really funny. Alrighty. All of my workers are out there, so I'm going to actually have to recall them. Yeah, so I'll recall him. Do I want to recall all of them? Yeah. May as well. 5 and 3 is 8, plus 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10, so I get to keep all 3 of my workers. Let's get ready to rumble. Okay, edge 1 goes away. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Okay, black worker. Tunnel space of their faction, so their faction is the Icarits. The Euphorians. So that gets bumped again. White is going to do a commodity in the Euphorians. So they'll take their 6 again and they'll put it in there. Just keep on building up that Euphorian area. Okay, my turn. Okay. I could just get a whole bunch more food. Oh wait, I recalled my workers. I should have paid a morale. Yep, I should have paid a morale. That's okay. Oh, but my 1s, I should have actually counted that one as a 3. So 3 and 3 is 6. 6 and 5 is 11. Oh, I'm still good. I'm still good. I forgot about that. I should have counted that as a 3 because that's that thing. Oh, sorry, that one. Oh, boy. Okay. Gee whiz. What should I do on my turn? Get a whole bunch of food? And then try to get some bliss? Yeah, I kind of want to start bumping up this Wastelanders area. So I'm actually going to put a 1 in here. I'm going to get 2 food. Then I'll actually be good to start gaining some morales as well. Get some foods. and bump up the Wastelanders. That's what I want. Then it's the Automa's turn. Oh, here we go with these stupid market actions again. Oh my goodness gracious, there's no markets that don't currently have workers. So black is going to put one down. Then white again is going to have, there's a market with a worker in it. So they'll put their put theirs in, and they go, look at that. They construct another market. I get another penalty. My goodness, those cards are just absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal, the double market cards. Dang it. So they'll get their dice back. 4 and a 6. And what's my penalty this time? Lottery of diminishing returns. Gee whiz. It says you can't gain commodities of a type you already have 2 or more of. Oh my gosh. Okay, there goes stockpiling. Okay, well then, I am going to have to start gaining some, you know, some of these artifacts and resources so that I can, or commodities to pay to put some stars onto these things, or gain some artifacts to put some stars onto these things. Because dang, this is brutal. Okay, so I've got the food. I'm going to need some resources eventually here, so maybe I'm going to start pushing this Wastelanders track here. I'm going to start pushing that Wastelanders track. We're going to pay a food. And I am going to gain, do I gain the brick or do I gain the artifact card? I'm be gaining balloons. Balloons are okay for this one. I could actually gain balloons. If I had electricity and bliss as well, I could actually put a star onto that. Or do I gain the brick? Oh, sorry, but I guess I should advance this one space. And you know what? I will gain the artifact card of the balloons. There we go. Yeah. That one's really hindering me as well. Okay, let's see what the Automa does. Okay, black's only got one worker. They're going to do a commodity action. There's nothing there, so they're going to take back all of their workers. And they didn't roll any 6s. White is going to do a tunnel action in their faction, so that's going to bump that up 1. Okay, now I've got this 3 here, which I think I'm going to come up here. I'm going to do the Icarus spot. That's going to get me a Bliss. It's going to get me a bump up on the Icarus track, which, hey, they unlocked their next little thing, which for the Icarus, it's every time you put a star in the Icarus territory, you actually get an artifact card as well. And it's getting ever so closer to maybe getting me to flip over that Icarus card, and also I can put a star on it. Yeah, that is what I wanted to do with that. Sure. Okay, what are they doing here? They are going to commodity area of their faction. So Euphorians with a 3, and then commodity area of the Wastelanders, and so they only have 1 worker left. So commodity area means they have to retrieve all their workers, but they're gonna have to leave their highest value worker back from their non-space. That 6 has blocked that spot up. Really good all game. Okay. So there we go with that. Let's keep the good times rolling, but I think I have to, oh my goodness, I have to bring back my workers. I'm going to bring back my workers. I'm going to actually spend a morale to bring these back. Yep. 6 and 4 is 10. 2 is 2 has to be acted as a 3. So 10, 13, 14. I am good for that. Phew. Phew, phew, phew. Okay, Automa. Let's see what you're doing. Okay, he's going to do a tunnel action in his action. So that's getting one. That's good. That's getting ever so closer. Commodity action in their area. So they'll take their lowest value, and that bumps up the subterraneans. Now, if you actually were subterranean, you would actually gain both benefits when going to the tunnel. That is that. What shall I do? I think I was actually going to try to gain... Oh, I can only gain one more card, and I can't gain the card that I already have, and I already have a teddy bear. And I wish I could gain a... gain some lightning. Gaining some lightning would be okay for me. Yeah, you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to use my 6 over here. Boom, just like that. I am going to gain the 2 lightning. Gain 2 lightning. You can't gain commodities of a type you already have 2 or more of. So, okay, that's okay. I got that. Going to gain the 2 lightning. And then I increase my intelligence by 1. That's my turn. Automa. Commodity action in the Wastelanders, so I'll take their highest value. Hey, that's their 4, and that's going to give me a bump up on the Wastelanders, which, hey, if I'm Wastelander, I can come to the tunnel action. I can get a brick and a artifact card. That's nice. Black is also, white is now going to do a commodity action in their area. So that's the subterraneans. They'll take their lowest value, put it in there. That's a 5, so they get no extra bumps on those tracks. Okay. Well, I think I was actually going to come up and I was going to do this one. I can actually go here. And when I go here, I can spend my balloons and a electricity and a bliss, and I can put a star onto this card. That was a change in these new in the expansion rules that are now part of the base game. I believe if you buy that, once you put it on here, you can actually go to here and put a star onto that spot instead of into the territories. So now I don't have to do that particular check, and also gets me another star. But I'm suffering. I still got 7 stars left. White's got 5. Black's got 7. So white is well ahead of us. Oh gosh, I forgot to put the stars on. I forgot to put the stars on that one. Dang. Sorry, white's got 4 stars left. Black's got 6. I've got 7. I got to get my butt in gear here. But I also bump up the Wastelanders allegiance track by going there. Okay, so let's do the Automa. I was going to say, they haven't done something in a while. Black, they're going to do a market action. And okay, market action is going to change a little bit for them since all of the markets are already built. So now it says spaces on construction sites where there's no workers. That's the penalizing markets. So they are being penalized down over here. So they'll take their dice and they'll go on the bottommost one, and they'll put their star onto that penalty marker, which means they're now 1 less away from not being penalized. And white, they only have 1 worker left, so they're going to retrieve their workers, but they leave their highest value 1 out there. Oh gosh, 2 6s. Dang. All right, and it's on to us, which we're going to use our 2 value die. Oh, I should keep bumping up those I should keep bumping up those Icarats, hey? Get some Bliss and get the bump. I think that would actually be really good. Kind of like, what can I use the teddy bear for? Teddy bear down here. I already have a star, but I could put a star in there if I had a light. I can actually do this one. I would actually bump their worker out, though. Wait, can I bump? You must have less than 6 knowledge to bump your own workers. If you do gain that. So I'm not bumping my own worker. I would actually be bumping their worker, but that would actually get me another star out onto the board, which is the name of the game, Euphoria. Put the stars on the board. Ooh. That is juicy. That would actually be really, that would actually help me quite a bit. So I'm actually going to use this. I'm going to bump the black worker. It's a 1. And I'm going to spend a teddy bear, a lightning, and a food. I'm going to put a star into the subterranean territory here. So that just gets me another star out onto the board. Oh, and the subterraneans will go up 1 on their allegiance track. Okay. Second card in the Bazaar track is going to get discarded. Okay, black is going to have to recall their workers, except for the workers that are in their highest value worker in a non-faction area. So that's this guy. So this one's going to come back, and this one's going to come back. Oh, 6 gets trapped. White is actually going to do a tunnel action in their faction. That keeps doing that. So if I had subterraneans, which I don't, I could flip them over. Okay, I am out of workers. I'm going to actually have to recall. I'm going to go down a morale again. Unless if I spend this food. I'm going to keep that food around, I think. I'll just go down the morale. Yeah. 5 and 1 is 6, 10, 11, 12. I am good to go. Let's keep the good times rolling here. So let's go with Automa turn. Boom. Boom. Okay, so now commodity action in the blacks area. That is the Euphorian, so their lowest value. Doesn't do anything. Commodity action in the subterraneans. They're going to take their lowest value die, which is a 5 in this case. Nothing. And yeah, that's their turn. Perfect. So let's do our turn, which is going to be, oh gosh, get another. I could start doing this again. I'm going to actually go over here. I'm going to actually put I can actually put the 4 in there. There you go. I'm going to put my 4 in here. That puts it up to an 8. I'm going to go down on my intelligence track. I'm actually going to get 2 foods. Oh, wait. But I can only gain, you can't gain commodities of any type you already have 2 or more of. Oh, but I don't have to. So I can actually gain. Can I gain 3? You can't gain. Could I gain 3 here? Because I don't. I'm gaining the commodities, but I don't have. I only have 1, so I'm gonna assume that I can do this. This is kind of like breaking the rule a little bit. I'll put an asterisk beside that. But I'm gonna gain. It says can't gain commodities of a type you already have 2 or more of. I'm going to gain those because I didn't have 2 or more of them already. So I'm just going to keep it at that. Okay. Automa. Well, the Automa deck is out. There's no more cards to add to the Automa deck. So we're just hoping that they don't come up with those, you know, we just don't come up, we don't, how fast those building market space action cards come out. I just don't want them to come out really, really soon. Okay. Automa turn. Boom. Boom. Okay. Black is going to, they only have one. They're going to recall their workers. They're going to leave their highest value in a non-faction commodity area. Whoops, that was a 5. That was a 1 because of my fumbly hands. White is going to do a recall because they only have one worker, and they will leave their highest value in a non-faction. Yeah, so they'll leave that one. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, on to me. And I think I'm just going to start gaining some, I'm going to start gaining some more Bliss to get some more commodity, those artifact cards. I'm going to use the 1 to go up on the 1 on that track, get a Bliss. Just like that. Automa. We're just praying that they, okay, so they're going to do a commodity action in their faction, which is the Euphorians. So they'll take a 1, but nothing happens because that's 6 hanging around the whole time. White is going to do a tunnel action in their faction, which is just keeps on pushing it down. Keeps on pushing it down. All right. My turn. I could gain a couple of cards. That might be useful. I could gain a brick and a card. I see a couple of these ones need bricks. Interesting. But I think I am going to... Yeah, I should do this one. I should actually push this. I'm going to spend a food. And I'm going to gain a brick and a artifact card, which I will gain the teddy bear, since I don't want to spend anything more. Yep. Just like that. And this will go down. Oh, did I push it down? No, I don't think I pushed it down 1 space. I'll push it down 1 space. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. So black is going to do a tunnel action in their area, which now that has been recovered. So now if you were Euphorian, you could actually come here and get 3 water. That's actually pretty big. And then white is going to do a commodity action in the wastelands. So they'll put their highest value into the wastelands. Okay. Oh, those are good. Okay. I'm going to have to recall my workers. And I will spend 1 food to increase my morale by 2. And I will recall, I think, all 3 of my workers. Oh, beautiful. Ooh, nice and low. Nice and low. Low and slow. Okay, here we go. Oh boy, here we go. Market actions. Extra special now since... Okay, let's do black, because I think black has to put theirs in a penalizing market, which will give them a star. And they are now no longer penalized. White. Okay, if all constructed markets, they're going to have to put somebody in a constructed market space and put down a star in the territory. So they're going to go to their faction, which is the subterraneans, there is a valid market space, and then they will put a star in that area. They only have 3 stars left, and we have 6. I have not been playing very well. I need to get going here. All right, so let's try and get some. Well, I'm going to put a 3 in here. I'm going to spend my food, and I'm going to gain a brick again and a artifact card, which are the balloons, I believe, because I can't gain doubles. Or wait, do I want? No, wait. I'm not going to gain the balloons. I'm actually going to spend the Bliss. I'm going to spend one of my commodities. I'm going to spend the Bliss to gain the game. Oh, balloons. Okay, that's what I'm going to do there. And that also pushes this track down 1, which now I can reveal my other Wastelander, which is Julia. When your worker is bumped, I may keep the value of it or head it, the value it had, or set it to the value of the worker that bumped it. So that's actually kind of a fun one. But now I really want to get this Wasteland track up so that I can put 2 stars on those before anything else happens. Okay, that was my action. Hopefully they don't do any more markets really soon here. Okay, oh wait, they're just recalling their workers. So black leaves behind someone their highest value in a non. Black. Okay, and white will leave behind their highest value in one of their non. Do. Okay, there we go. All right, well, I am actually going to come up over here. Right there. And I am going to spend my game and a brick to put a star onto this one. So now I can collect artifact cards that are the same. There we go. Okay, perfect. I'm within the limitation. I'm slowly working my way. At it. Let's keep it going. Bazaar gets rid of this one. And glasses. Black is going to do a tunnel action in their area. So they'll block the tunnel there. White will do a commodity in the Euphorians. So they'll put another 6 up in there. Of course they will. Alrighty, so now it comes on to me, and I've got a 1. I've got this lonely old 1 and no resources. So how about I come over? I guess I could just do this. I could just come over here, grab a couple food, and lower my intelligence, but mostly just kind of grabbing a couple food. That works for me. Because I just want to keep pumping. I'm just going to keep pumping this down too, because I want to keep, I want to maybe also I want to get some stars out here, so I need to gain some more artifact cards. Okay. Automa. Okay, so the second card goes away. Black is going to do commodities in the Icarus. Ooh, that actually pushes them up 1 spot. That's actually beautiful. And white is actually going to do a market in their area. So yeah, so they'll just actually come and they'll just do a dice in one of their markets. I'm just going to do the lowest one, and that's actually going to put them another star out there. They got 2 stars left. White's got 2 stars. They got 8 stars out there. And of course, that's impeccable timing because I now need to recall my workers for my turn. And I will go down 1 morale. 5 and 4 is 9, 10, 11, 12. That's okay. Okay, let's see what these automas are doing. Oh gosh. So black is doing a tunnel action. Oh, but they only got 1 worker left, so they're going to recall all of their workers because there's no A symbol. Whoops, that was a 5 because of my fumbly fingers. And white is going to do a tunnel action, a market action. All markets are constructed. They're not penalized anywhere. They'll do a territory action in their area, but that area is full. So now they'll come over here and they'll start putting stars into this area. They have 1 star left. White has 1 star left, and I am not feeling super confident right now. Not super confident right now. So let's just do this. I'm going to come up at the top here. I'm going to gain myself a Bliss and move up the Icarit spot 1 space, which now I can flip over my Icarit. You may pay Bliss instead of the normal cost when you use a tunnel action. If you do not gain both a resource and card, you can gain a heart. Mainly it's because I now have Icarits. I can gain extra Bliss if I need to. But come on, Automa, put me out of my misery. Not really right now. Black is going to go on the commodity of their area, which is Euphorian. So they'll put a 1 in there. Nothing happens. And white has to recall. They're going to actually recall all of their workers for the first time in this game, it seems. And there they are. They all go out. Okay. Moi is going to go. And I'm going to put my... I'm going to come up here to the bazaar bar. I'm going to pay a food and a Bliss to gain 2 artifacts, and I'll gain this balloon. And I'm going to gain another balloon since I'm now allowed to collect pairs because I got rid of that stupid penalty. That was that one right there. Okay, I'm done with that. So now it is Automa. Okay, so they're doing commodities of each of their own factions. So they'll go a 1. Okay, so that actually bumps up the Euphorians for the first time in a long time. And we'll do a bump up on the Subterraneans. Alrighty. Okay. I am going to do this. I'm going to use my worker here. I'm going to do my worker, and it's going to put I'm going to put another star out. Just taking a look around which one's the most. Yeah, no, I think I got to do Wastelanders. So I am actually going to do this. I could actually do the Icarits as well. Ooh, that would actually be beneficial. But I think I need to do Wastelanders. So I am actually going to do boom. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to spend 2 of the same as 3 artifact cards. That's going to get me a star. And I'm going to put that star onto this stupid penalty right there. And I am also going to get a bump on the Wastelanders track. I just need a few more bumps to kind of get that going so that I can get a couple stars. That's kind of like a objective of mine before this whole crapshoot works out. So let's just keep it going. Second card clears. Those ones go like that. Black is going to do commodity area in their faction. That's still a 4, so they get another bump. So now they're here they go. Here comes Euphoria. And tunnel space for the subterraneans. So they're going to do that. This is going to advance 1. Okay, my turn, and all of my workers are out there. So I'm going to bring them back. Oh my gosh. And I'll spend the food to go up to morale. I have 11, 15, 16, 11. Yeah, 15, 16. I have to lose I lose a worker. Oh my gosh. Wow. At this late in the game, that is a critical blow to my turns. Okay, black is going to recall their workers, but leave a worker behind in a... No, but they're all stuck in their own, so they're going to take them all back. White's going to do a commodity in their own. That puts them up to a 5. That they don't get no bumps. Okay, so what am I going to do with mine? Gee willikers. That kind of really put a hindrance into my plans. I've got resources, but I don't have any commodities. So I think I'm going to have to start just bumping up some things. I can get a bunch of... Should do the Icarats or the Wastelanders. Let's do Wastelanders because that's actually going to give me a couple stars. So I'm going to put a 4 in here, get 2 foods, and a bump up on the Wastelanders track. So I got 1. I just need 3 more bumps and I get 2 stars. Maybe I can do something along the way. Okay, Automa. Are you going to put me out of my misery? Black is not penalized anywhere. So they're going to go to their own faction. And they will put in a... star. So they got 3 stars left, and white's going to do their thing in their area. That area is full, so they'll go to the next one. There is a valid space, and they will put down their last star, and white has won the game. They have all of their stars out. Black had 3 stars left. I had 4. I came in last place in this particular playthrough. That was brutal. Well, some of the penalties that occurred were not very nice, but man, oh man, these double action space, these double markets ones where they were able to complete their market before I was able to get in there. That was brutal, but that can happen in a 3-player game when you only need to fill in 2 of the spots on the markets. The 3rd player gets left out. All right, well, that is how you play Euphoria solo. Please let me know what you're thinking about this game. Please make sure you leave a like and a subscribe to the channel, notification bell if you want to get notified, and leave me a comment. Do you think you would enjoy Euphoria solo? I think I did a pretty darn good job at kind of playing by the rules. If I made any rules mistakes, please let me know in the comment area of this video, and I will happily put in some notations later on. Thank you everybody for coming along the ride with me in Euphoria solo from Stonemaier Games. I have been Ryan of Mista Rau Gaming. Please check me out on all of my social medias. I am on Instagram, the platform formerly known as Twitter, not as much, but I am also on Blue Sky and Threads. I also have a Facebook account. Please check me out on all of those things, and if you want to, you can also support me at Ko-fi. Things are getting expensive, so if you want to make a donation to the channel, you can make a donation to the channel that way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Ryan. Thank you very much for watching, and I will check you out next time. Thanks, everybody.